if you have an object which creates a certain amount of energy or movement, then there will always be an reaction which is equal and opposite in the other direction. Okay? So if there's some energy put out, then that energy has to be converted into something else which is exactly equal to the amount which has been put out. For example, if your car is running along the road at 20 miles per hour, then you need to apply the brake, and that will convert the energy of the movement into heat in the brake blocks, which is exactly equal to the amount of energy the car has as it's running along the road. So the energy doesn't disappear, it's just changing into another form. And if you like, one way of looking at the law of karma is that the things which we put out in the form of our intentions, speech, or actions, they don't just disappear, but they come back to us in a similar form, but instead of coming from us, it comes back to us. So these things don't disappear. And in any form of spiritual tradition, I think it's always very unfashionable to make judgments about things as being good or bad. No one likes to be considered that they are being judged. But in Buddhism, we do categorize karma as being good, neutral, or bad. And good or bad doesn't mean that there's someone who is making decisions about this, that, what this person's doing pleases me and therefore it's something good. It's not like that at all. But it's rather like if you do something like wear shoes which are 2 sizes too small for you, then after walking along the road for 200 meters, then your feet start to hurt, correct? So we would say that that is bad karma. Why? Because it ends up bringing you suffering. Okay, it's your stupidity that you did it in the first place. But the result of it, without anyone judging you that, to wear shoes which are the wrong size is something bad to do, even without someone judging you, you know for yourself the result of it, because it ends up hurting your feet. So this is what we mean by bad. It's something that in the future will come back to you in some form of inconvenience or suffering, and therefore it is stupid to do it in the first place. So when we talk about good or bad, wholesome, unwholesome, this is what we mean. It's not that someone is got a list somewhere about what is good or what is bad, but it means that it's something that is going to lead to your inconvenience or suffering in the future. So we have wholesome things which are going to end up bringing us some sort of prosperity, some form of happiness in the future. We have things which are neutral. Maybe I should give an example. For example, if you are helpful to people, polite to people, then they tend to treat you in a way which is they want to help you back. In the future, they want to speak to you in a polite way. Things which we consider neutral are things like walking up and down, brushing your teeth, things which don't create anything which is either good or bad, they just use up your time. And things which are bad are things like I mentioned, like wearing shoes which are too small. Maybe it's doing things like deceiving people or being reckless when you're driving. These would be examples of bad karma. The word karma actually means action. Karma means to do, something like to do in English language. But often in Thai language, it takes on a negative implication. If someone says, it's your karma, normally it means that it's something bad. But in fact, karma can be good or bad, or even neutral. And the ways we can create it are by 3 different channels. When you talk about your actions, it means the things which you do physically with your body, by your hands or your feet. These are physical actions. For example, if you pick up a knife and stab someone with it, then that is an example of a physical action which is bad karma. Okay? We can also do it by our verbal actions. Sometimes it's the easiest thing to make a slip of the tongue, but it is considered karma also, because once it becomes public, then you can't take your words back anymore. So you can speak in a positive way, which gives people encouragement and inspiration, or you can insult people, or you can speak in a way which is sarcastic, which undermines their enthusiasm. This is good or bad karma via the channel of our speech. But one thing is interesting, and this is quite important when we think about why we're doing our meditation as well, is that not only the actions which are public count as karma, even what is going on in our mind is a form of karma. If we have good intentions going through our mind, it creates also good karma. So a person who has a good mood, even though they may not even smile at the world or do something nice for someone, the fact that their mind is in a good mental state is good karma. Yet a person who may have a grudge against someone, even though they might not put the grudge into action, just by the fact that they bear a grudge, that is bad karma. It sort of weighs on them. So even what goes on in our mind is important for karma. And it's especially important because normally the intentions, once they become more intense, become the things that we say, or they will drive us to have actions which have the same quality as the intentions. So if we can work with intentions, if we can try to do away with negative intentions before they go to fruition as actions or speech, then that is a safer way to go than to try to stop them once they already get to the stage of being actions. Okay, so 3 channels first of all. I talked about 12 different forms of karma. And the first 4 ways which we look at karma are in terms of how serious or how heavy they are. Why is this important? Because the first law of the way karma works is that all things being equal, the more serious forms of karma which you have done will give their results more quickly. So if you know that, then you try either to do seriously good karma or to avoid seriously bad karma. Okay? And if you look at the diagram of the bullet, then you can see that in fact we can put the karma into 4 different levels of seriousness. Heavy form of karma, if you talk about it in a negative sense, is usually actions which are so extreme that they may give their karmic retribution, so the results of the karma, almost immediately. And amongst these are included things like killing your mother, killing your father, killing an arahant, harming a Buddha, because it's not possible to kill a Buddha, he doesn't die by the hands of someone else, and creating a schism or fragmentation, a division in the community of the Buddhist monks. So I say that again: killing your mother, killing your father, killing an arahant, so someone who is enlightened, harming a Buddha, because the Buddha doesn't get killed by other people, creating a division or schism within the order of the Buddhist monks. In some places there's a 6th one added to this, which is masquerading as a Buddhist monk when in fact you are giving teachings which are not belonging to Buddhism. So a rogue monk in another sense. These sort of karmas are so heavy that even though a person may have done many other good things, but these would tend to be the trump card which overtakes all the other karmas. They're so heavy. In some cases, in the scriptures, the karma was so heavy that the earth swallowed up the person who did them immediately. They led to their immediate death. In other places, you hear about things like a person's head exploding into 7 fragments. Okay, so whether you take it as symbolism or not, it's up to you, but I advise you not to experiment with it for yourself.